Hi everyone, it's Jeff Mitosu Crafts and welcome to our channel and the Global Stampin' Video Hub with the theme of fun folds. So today I'm creating a triple diamond gatefold featuring the Magical Meadow bundle from the Winter Meadow suite. So that's with the stamp set and dies and the DSP as well. I've gone ahead and pre-cut most of my items and elements, so I'll just go through that with you. So the Winter Meadow DSP, you'll need 3 panels or 5 panels, but if you have 9 by 3 inches and cut that into 3 panels, and the other end or both ends cut it diagonally that way. So if you want the design to flow, do have it that way. I didn't think before cutting mine, so mine's all over the place. But yeah, if you want the middle to flow, but it doesn't matter too much. You'll need 6 of 2 by 2. So I've just opted for a really subtle design, again from the Winter Meadow suite or DSP. So you'll need 6 of those. So if you have 12 by 2 and then just cut that into 6, you'll have the same DSP for those. Basic white, you need 3 2 by 2. I'm gonna use boho blue for my card base and diamond panels. So this one is 4.5 by 2 1/4, scored at 2 1/4. So you'll need 2 of those. 2 1/4 square, 3 of those, a layer of smoky slate 3 1/4 by 3 1/4, and finally the main card base is 10.5 by 3.5, scored at 3.5 and 7 inches. So before I do the folding and constructing, I will just do some of the decorating and stamping. So as mentioned, I will use the Winter Meadow. So I've got 3 panels already done, and I need to stamp these. So on the 2 by 2, so you'll have 2 panels that we're gonna fold in half to create one piece of the diamond, and just make sure that's burnished nicely so it folds flat. And this one is going to be on the right hand side, so you'll need DSP on the top side, white on the inside, and DSP again on the inside. And then at the back, we're just gonna glue that. That is gonna go along the back, so we'll need a DSP for that one. So all of these DSP, it doesn't matter. So you'll need a DSP that's not orientated specifically to vertical or horizontal. So we're gonna have DSP onto that one and onto these 2 there. So I'm just gonna stamp some of the images from Winter Meadow in Lost Lagoon. So on the panel, I'm just gonna stamp this one vertically, and then do a second generation. So stamp off and just add a couple on either side. I'll just do that one again. And we're gonna color in the berries. If you have Stampin' Right markers, you can fill it in and use the Stampin' Right marker technique. Stamp marker to stamp technique even. So I'm gonna use a sure afternoon, and I'm just gonna fill in some of the berries. So this one is the light, and I'm gonna move on to the dark in a second, just to give it a blue tint. To mimic the DSP. So that one is already done, so I'm just gonna stick that down before I forget. So do 2 of these. You can mix and match, of course, DSP and design, but I'm just keeping it similar for the left and the right panel. So this one is slightly darker because I went with blueberry bushel on that one. So you can choose. For the inside, we're gonna have this one. So that is, I'm gonna use Balmy Blue, and I will just do some 2nd generation stamping with these leaves. So stamp off, and then just make sure that you have the correct orientation of your diamond, and I'm just gonna stamp that on left and right. And I have gone ahead and pre-die cut myself 2 of this die, and I also die cut the berries from this bundle. I added adhesive sheet at the back and die cut 2, and before die cutting the berries I added blueberry bushel light, and then die cut that through. Okay, I used shaded spruce light to cover all of the sprigs or the needles, and then went over with the dark shaded spruce and just colored in some areas again to mimic the DSP, and then finally added blueberry bushel on the berries in light and dark. So I'm just gonna add that on to the center there. Before I do, I'm just gonna stick this down. So just remember when you stick down that your spine, so wherever you're gonna put it, if it's on the right, the spine should be on the right. Okay, I'll just do the front. Yeah, so stick this down. And again, top right, so the bottom of those flourishes is down in the center. And then take off the backing. I do have 2 sheets on here, so just make sure that is off. And we're gonna stick that down. Again, just gonna go up a little bit. There you go. Before finishing that panel off, I've got my berries there because I die cut it with the sticky sheet. I did peel it off, but it might be easier to not use the sticky sheet because it's so tiny, but I had the off cut. I thought I might as well. So I'm just gonna add those on. 4 of them. And I'm just gonna add a bit of the dark blueberry bushel in some areas. Just make sure that that is nice and stuck down. So I'm just using the tip of my take your pick tool. So that panel is now done. We're gonna add another DSP on the inside. So for this one, I'm gonna use the same stamp. Again, keeping in mind the orientation that is a diamond, and I'm gonna add the berry as well. So the leaf is gonna go from the top down this time. Oh, okay. I was meant to stamp off, but never mind. We'll do it on the second one. And for the berry, I'm gonna use blueberry bushel. And that's just gonna float right in the center. That's great. And for the white, before might as well stick that down, I'm just gonna add the other design, which is here in Lost Lagoon again. Don't forget to stamp off this time. So bottom right. So you can fill in as much as you like on the design. Add a bit more of the flourish, but I'm just gonna keep it that stamping because the idea is it's gonna be hidden. So I'm hoping that people can add their kind of like writing on there as well if they want, so secret messages and things like that, or another sentiment. But I'm just gonna stick this down. And because it's a nice 2x2, you should have an equal border around. So this is going on the right hand side, the spine is there, and that's gonna go that way. Ooh. There we go. And just make sure that that is again burnished. So that's one down. My other one is here. I did do second generation on both, but I quite like it with the. So now we have 3. I'll use the dark on this one for the front, just so it's slightly different. There we go. And for the final white, so I've already got the white there and the white there. I've just done my sentiment, so winter wishes in blueberry bushel, stamp that on first, and then second generation Lost Lagoon for the same stamp as the side panel, and the leaves as well in second generation balmy blue, and that is gonna get added to the third 2 1/4 piece. And I think I have another mechanism to show you that I didn't earlier, but that is gonna be my panels. So with the DSP, I'm gonna stick my centerpiece. Most of this will be covered, but you can still see hints of it, and it's actually gonna be a square piece. There we go, that is now done. And as I mentioned, we have our 10.5 by 3.5 scored at 3.5 and 7 inches. We're just gonna cut off diagonal points from bottom left to the first score line, bottom right to the second score line. Okay, so that's gonna be that way, so I'm just gonna cut that way. Okay, if you can't see your scoring, if you fold it up, burnish it, it's quite hard to see anyway for me in this light, so I'm just gonna do that. And because that's gonna be seen, I'll cut it that way. So just remember outer to the score line. Okay, so now that I can see it, line up your score line. I still can't see mine. So on the track, and cut. Do the same for the other side. From corner to the score line. And cut. Here we go. I did think of adding this somewhere, but that's just off cut. Also, if you haven't already cut your DSP, so you can just cut that diagonally. Again, with this, I tend to line it up first and then bring my cutting blade down in the center and cut from the center outwards, just so the blade doesn't snag the corners. So we're just gonna add our DSPs, and if you do press quite hard onto your trimmer, sometimes it adds an edge to those. So that's gonna get added on centrally. It doesn't matter because mine doesn't flow anyway. That's why I chose this design. It's lovely from I really love the design on this DSP pack. So one is gonna be on the inside. And hopefully it'll have a nice border. Yeah, and that on the left hand side. over. So, well, you can't really see the design anyway, that it doesn't flow, so it doesn't matter too much because I'm just gonna add that on. But if you're particular, don't forget that putting it that way, so this is this way, but again, it doesn't matter. Depending on your DSP, I guess, design. So that is there, and the other panel is here. It's just a lot of it's quite an easy fold, but it's just a lot of panels, but you can keep it clean and just plain card. Now that we have those, we're gonna add, so if we line that up in the center, you can I guess mark some of it, just make sure that it's center, or you can just line it up. So it's quite easy to do. We'll mark it and then just might be easier. Let's have a look. Where's my thing? So from edge to edge, it's 3.5, so 1 3/4. No, yeah, 1 3/4. So 1 3/4, and on the side as well, 1 3/4. Is that gonna be enough? Yeah, I think that is fine. So what you could do is temporarily fix that. Just so you can like have a guide. So just add to adhere these. So we're gonna add that on, and that is at the front. Okay, so that's gonna go up, and we're gonna stick down, so glue on one end and then glue on the other. So the not so exciting stamping, but the design is there, is at the front. You can bling it up, wink of Stella, or maybe some gems, but you'll need flat gems. Okay, so that one is gonna go onto that side. Ooh, is that correct? I put it into wrong. That's fine. So make sure you add the glue on one side where it's gonna stick, and then on the other end of the panel, the diagonal panel, stick that down the same way or the same area as the diamond in the center. Okay, and then now we can use that as a guide to stick our piece. So with this one, again, I'm just gonna do the glue on one side, so this is, it's not stuck down with the other end. So using the front panel as a guide, glue and then glue, stick that down, Oh, it's moving. Press and hold. And then finally, we're gonna add a mechanism for the center. And the mechanism is this one. So it's a 4 by 3/4 of an inch, score at 1/2 inch, 1 inches, 1.5 on both ends. And we're just gonna do a concertina fold on both sides from the center. And once it's folded down, just make sure that the ends or any of the folds doesn't touch the other opposite end. Now that we have that, we're just gonna add glue to the spring and make sure that you add it horizontally, so the panel or the spring is moving left to right, not up and down, because once you have this up, it might droop down. Okay, so that is now done, and then we're just gonna add glue along the center. I'm really blobby. That's fine. And realign this one. What's the best way? If I so just make sure that is there. I'm just wanting to make sure that it's in the correct place, so I've realigned that. I'm gonna fold that down. So now it's in place. Just make sure that is done. You can add some embellishments if preferred, but that is my triple diamond gatefold. So once it's up, the diamond can be lifted up, or if you want it quite closed in, you can have it so it's touching, so you're not lifting the diamond, but it can be free from the center panel. Fold it out, and you have space to write and add different DSP or stamping design onto there. And also at the back, if you want some more space, just add another piece of basic white for some message. So there we go. I hope you enjoy this idea. Do let me know what you think in the comments below, and I would love to see your take on this fold as well, how you're gonna decorate it. But check out the description below for the product links, as well as the next video link in the Global Stampin' video haul. Thanks again for joining me today. Until next time, bye!